We'll talk about your lake house.
Oh boy.
Hi, everyone. Hello, Unlocked World. Let me see if I can see you guys. Today we have Carrie on with us. Carrie, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Carrie is a longtime Rentals Made Easy Mastermind student, and she is here to share her story from how she went from gym owner pre-COVID, went through some crazy ups and downs with all that, and then is now a full-time real estate investor.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a journey this
Heck of a
past year. So I met Jesse a year ago this month.
November. Yeah.
It was November. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a crazy year, but even before that, my husband and I have done a lot of reflecting lately because we have hit the big 5-0. And
I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
well, you're too sweet because yes. And then we've been married, 27 years. And a lot has changed in this past year. So we've done a lot of reflecting lately and a lot of reflecting on where we were in our 20s when our kids were babies and we were living paycheck to paycheck and not even paycheck. It was so outside of our means when we first got started in life, and how in the hell we got to where we are now. How did this happen in 27 years? So it's been a lot of reflecting lately on how exactly we did get here.
And because talk to me. So when you say here, you're calling in from your lake house.
Yeah. So we live on Indian Lake. So we made this our permanent residence 2 years ago. We're on the water. I mean, I could walk out this back door and take about 5 steps and be inside the freezing cold water.
So Carrie's joining our calls from some beautiful scenery, and we're always so jealous.
I wish I could be out there right now. But yeah, so if you would have told me 4 or 5 years ago that I'd be living here, there is no way I would have ever believed you. So it's been a journey, and how we got here. And again, the reflection that we've been doing and really thinking back, it honestly all has to do with making the right decisions, even though we didn't know what the hell we were doing, but making the right decisions real estate wise.
Okay. Well, let's get into it.
Purchase of our first house.
Yeah. Let's get into it. I want to hear all about your journey. I want to hear, because you've been an entrepreneur for what, a decade?
Yes. Well, my husband, that's what brought us from Cincinnati to the Columbus area.
Okay.
Was he purchased a franchise in Columbus. And when we moved from Cincinnati to Columbus, we had a little bit of sticker shock when it came to purchasing a home for our family, and compared to where we were in Cincinnati. And we could have lived anywhere. We have no family, no friends. His business was in Worthington.
Okay.
But he wasn't, a drive was no big deal for him. So we chose Marysville.
Okay.
And we chose Marysville because we could get more bang for our buck, purchase with the house we ended up building. And everyone was saying, it's up and coming, 5 years, there's so much coming. Honda's, is really building up there and it's coming. Well, 5 years came, nothing changed. 10 years, started to see some change. We lived there 18 years.
18 years.
Yes. And when we left Marysville, it's why I live on it. It's why I live lakefront. It is because of what we purchased in 2005. We bought that house. We lived there.
Yeah, tell us the numbers.
Yeah, 12 years. We bought that first house it was cookie cutter in a neighborhood. The builder built, you had 5 choices of a house to build from the builder. They were all stacked on top of each other. Perfect at that time for my young kids.
Okay.
I walked out the door and there were kids to play with everywhere. Perfect. Well, when my daughter got to high school, she was getting ready to leave for college. We lived in that house 12 or 13 years. And we had rooms that we never walked into.
Okay.
Adam was still running his business, and we had bought at that time we had bought a gym, opened a gym.
Yes.
So we're working like 60, both of us working like 60 hours. We couldn't keep up with this house. What do we need it for? Daughter's going off. So we decided to downsize. We stayed in Marysville.
Okay.
So we sold that house. I wouldn't say we made a huge profit. I don't think we did.
So you had it for 12 years. What'd you buy it for?
Oh gosh, Jesse, I don't remember.
You don't remember? You don't remember?
I don't remember those numbers, but I don't think it was anything huge. Okay. But what we decided to do was downsize into a little ranch that needed a lot of TLC.
Okay.
What I now know is house hacking. So we lived in the house and renovated it while we lived in it. We bought that house for $199.
Okay, you know these numbers. Okay, good.
I do know these numbers. These numbers were life-changing. Bought that house for $199. Rehabbed it while we lived in it. My husband owns a contracting business.
Okay.
So doing the rehab work, there was a lot of people who owed him some favors.
Okay.
And so got some really great deals. I would say if I had to really put a number on what we spent in rehab on that house, I'd say $100,000 through the 4 years that we owned it. And I think that's probably even high. But so let's say we're at $299. Let's say we're at $300 now. So 4 years later, my son is graduating high school now. Okay. We're becoming empty nesters. We have found and love Indian Lake, and we want to live here permanently.
Yes, the dream.
And Marysville is absolutely exploding like they told us 18 years ago that it was going to.
Nice.
The housing market in general was going crazy, but in Marysville, it was even more going crazy. And I kept telling Adam, do you know how much we could get for this house if we would sell it? Do you know how? He's like, you are crazy. You are nuts. Put it on the market. So let's say we're into it for 300 is what we said, right? So we put it on the market for 375.
Okay.
It went into a humongous bidding war.
Okay. Love it.
475.
470. You went $100K over asking.
Over asking.
That's wild.
It was crazy. It was all so very crazy. So very crazy.
When was it? Was it the peak? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was the peak.
Yeah,
so what would that have been? 21. It would have been 21.
Yeah, great timing.
I know. So I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so that was like lesson number one of me falling in love with real estate. And really, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really do it on purpose, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's how I got started too. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that, I was in a good place at a good time, and I made some smart decisions. And here we go.
I like the idea that we bought this little ranch, and it needed so much work, and we could make it our own. God, I loved that house. I hated to sell it because from top to bottom, it was ours, and it was everything we wanted, and we loved it. But I wanted to live here. So during that time as well, we had closed our gym. There was COVID. I didn't have a job.
Wow. Tell me about the gym closure. So you were just operating a business one day, and then all of a sudden.
Oh, girl. It was. Would I do it again? I hate to say no because it was a huge part of my family's life. My daughter, it shaped who my daughter is today. Aww. She fell in love with CrossFit, the community of CrossFit. She was very insecure with herself, went through an eating disorder. We had a lot of issues going on there.
Yeah.
And whether you agree or disagree with CrossFit, what she pulled out of it changed her life.
Oh, wow.
Her confidence, she's a muscular girl, and, being accepted that what her body could do for her. There's so much, gosh, I could go on a soap opera just about that, but it did shape her life.
Okay.
For my family, it grew so big, so fast that we were out of control. With how much it took out of our family.
Okay.
So, I mean, we were running two businesses. My husband's working, I'm not lying, 60 to 70 hours a week easily.
Jeez.
I'm going 60. I have, two teenagers. My son started getting in some trouble at school, and I was miserable just from working so much and being under so much stress.
Yeah.
And
And here comes COVID and just kind of
right.
takes it all away immediately.
Well, and we made this decision right before COVID. I mean, COVID wasn't a thing quite yet. We were about 2 months out from COVID shutting everything down when we made the decision. Right. And it really was. The decision was, we were at my son's soccer game. He played high school soccer, and he wasn't the best on the team. He didn't get a whole lot of playing time. Finally, there's a game where he gets playing time, and I was behind the stands taking a complaint from a member, and I missed. Finally, my son gets 10 minutes of playing time, and I missed it. And that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
And that was that next week. That next week, I said, I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
So you fell out of control, it sounds like. Like the business took over. And you had this little hint that like real estate, it's been good to you in the past.
Yeah.
That it matches your interests. So were you like, hey, forget the gym, we're going real estate full time? Or was there more in between?
No, there was when the gym closed, then came COVID. Immediately then came COVID. And it was awesome because I missed so much time with my son. He was not into the gym scene like my daughter was. And we opened that gym when he was only 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
And now he's in high school. So there was a lot of time missed there. So I got to spend a lot of time with my son, and I needed that. So I took about a year and didn't do anything.
Okay.
But I needed to do something, especially during that time. We were working on the house. It was done. We hadn't moved to the lake yet. It was done. So and Adam sold his business.
Okay. A lot of transition these last
Exactly.
years.
So he sold his business in the midst of COVID. Like we were maybe 3 or 4 months into COVID, and corporate came to him and said, hey, we want to buy your franchise and hire you to run it. Hell yes, all day long.
Yeah. Okay.
So we do that. Well, we got a chunk of money that we're like, we put money in our investments and all that good stuff from the sale. Well, we got this chunk of money. What do we want to do with it? So we bought a house here at Indian Lake with the intent to rent it, Airbnb it, and then it would be our future family vacation home.
Okay.
So that then took my winter. Like that was my winter project of what would have been 21, became my winter project. We ended up rehabbing it. It was so cool. Knocked out a wall so you could see the lake. We did a lot of great stuff to it.
That's your Airbnb now.
That's
this house.
No,
different house. Okay, this is a house I don't know about.
Yeah. So it really was just this will become our family's vacation home. We had no idea yet that we were going to live at the lake.
Okay.
So let's buy it. So we bought it. We rehab it. It's beautiful. And we go ahead and we Airbnb it for that summer.
Okay.
It was a great success. Towards the end of the season, and this all happened at the same time. Hey, let's live at the lake. Okay. Hey, look at how much money that we can get from our Marysville house. Okay, cool. What are we going to do now with this other house that we Airbnb, thinking it's going to be our vacation house? There's a renter staying there, and this renter says, hey, we want to buy this.
Okay.
At that time, I'm like, it's not for sale. Well, enter everything else happens. Okay, it is for sale.
Yeah,
how much?
Yeah.
How much? So they tell us, and we say, okay, well, we're not going to sell it to you until after we've owned it at least a year to avoid that capital gain, tax or help. So we finagle that. Okay, cool. We sold it. So it ended up really being a flip. We made $75,000. Heck
yeah. Yes.
And again, I don't really know what I'm doing. All I know is that I kind of needed a job. I enjoy working on houses. I enjoy, taking them from this shithole to something nice.
Yeah.
And hey, I'm making look at the money. I'm
good money. Yeah. Between a couple you've done. Yeah. You're crushing it.
So that all kind of came together all at the same time,
Okay.
gave us a lump of money that we can say, you know what, let's find an awesome house on the water. Where did all this money come from? All this money came from real estate.
Real estate.
It did.
Long-term buy and hold real estate.
It did. So, so that brought us to living here, right?
Okay. Where are we now in time?
2022, the beginning of 2022, because we've been here almost 2 years.
Okay.
So, right. Yeah. Because it'll be 2024.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that brings us here.
So you have proven accidentally that real estate is something you love and can make you money.
Yeah. Right.
Is this when you decide
this
you
is
want
when
to
I
do
decide.
Okay.
This is when I decide.
You've had some happy accidents, right?
Yeah.
You know, they've worked out really well due to timing, due to, you know, kind of right place, right time. You know, I had some windfalls like that as well. But then how did you decide like you want it to be more scalable and repeatable? Because you can't repeat what you've done over and over.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Those were, like you said, accidents, and man, did we get lucky.
Yes.
I mean, really, really, really lucky. So, so then we move here, and I did one winter living here without anything. And I can't do this again. It is so boring here in the winter.
So boring.
I have got to have a job. I've got to do something. I got to have a job. And Adam's bugging me. You need a job. You need a job. Okay, well, I don't want to go sit in an office. I don't want to get up every single day and have to be somewhere at 8:00. And I'm a control freak. And I don't take direction from other people.
You're a lifelong entrepreneur. It'd be very hard to go work for someone else.
I need to be my own boss. Yeah. And these are just things that I knew.
Yeah.
So I dove the end of last summer, not this past summer, but last summer. I kind of got just on the internet. I found some webinars. I found this lady named Teresa from like Austin, Texas or something.
Okay.
And she did this whole like every Monday night, and her accent I was in love with her accent. Anyway, so, but it was it was okay with $17, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I bought some books, and I'm like, okay, I think I know enough. Maybe we could be dangerous. So let's go buy this duplex here at Indian Lake. We buy this duplex. I just wish I knew. It's okay. It's fine. I mean, we're still going to make money, you know, whatever. God, I wish I knew now what I knew then. But so we buy this, and I'm like, what do I do with it now? I need contractors.
Yeah.
How do I find good renters? All the horror stories about your renters that you bring in. Oh, that's going to fall. Sorry, I'm tangled in a cord. What am I going to do? So in this course that I took with this Teresa, she's like, networking. Networking is everything. Network. So I get onto Facebook. I'm like, okay, Columbus real estate investors. What's out here? So I find Coin.
Yeah. If you guys don't know Coin, if you're here in Columbus, it's Central Ohio Investor Network. I'm on the leadership committee, monthly meetup. It's a fantastic, I've been going for coming up on 5 years now. And it is a fantastic networking opportunity. So yeah, that's how you and I were introduced.
Yeah. So I found Coin, and inside of that Facebook, so I like asked to be a member or whatever. Somebody asks a question. I have no idea what it was. Like, what do I do if this, and this? And there's this Jessie Lang, and she comments, like my page or something about you. You know, you said something about what you offer.
Okay.
So I click on you.
That sounds about right.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is what I need help with right now. I don't know how to hire contractors. I don't know how to bring in a renter. I don't know what to do. So I stalked you, like really hardcore stalked you on Facebook.
Should I be worried?
Yeah. I probably knew all about your love of cats and everything else at this point. So, but I saw that you were going to be the speaker at the Coin meeting that November. So I drove over an hour, drove down there and went to my first coin meeting. So I tell you all the time how scared I was.
Yeah, you almost walked out, you said.
I did. I sat out in my truck and we're watching the people go in. I called my husband. I said, I am so out of my comfort zone. What am I doing? I'm going home. This is not for me. And he yelled at me and told me to get my ass in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he yelled. He said, get your ass in there. So I did. And the rest is history. We met. Yeah. I joined your group. And that is that's where my journey began to where I was 1 year ago. And then now I have 11 doors.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So so you and I met. I teach people to buy and manage long-term rentals. Everyone in this group knows that. So you were right there. You bought, but you didn't know, you weren't sure on the manage. So, we kind of gave you some systems, gave you some processes. What would you say has been like of what you thought you needed versus what you've actually gotten? What has been the biggest kind of transformation, would you say?
What I thought I needed to what I think it is how to find the deals and how to make the purchases.
Okay.
Because when I first met you, I think even Jesse, I think your focus was a little more on the managing.
It was.
Part.
We've evolved. Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. And that's what I needed then. But the more I was hearing and the more you were listening, you do a great job of listening to us. You were hearing, well, how do we get in on these good deals to start with,
right,
and then do the managing part. So that has been huge from what I started, what I thought I needed and what I needed to what I have now. And now it is such a full package. What you're offering is such a full package that it takes you from step one, could be a complete newbie, to the end. So
there is no end. There's never an end.
Well, there's an end when you get the tenant in there. When you get the tenant in there and it's crickets, like Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving weekend, crickets. Not a single tenant, not anything. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good work. That's your systems working for you right there.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. So Lizzie says, did you say 11 doors? So you sold your personal house. You sold your only rental just a few years ago, and you now have 11 doors.
Yeah. So we've got the duplex we started with.
Okay.
And then a little piece that I've kind of left out of all of this is and when I say that real estate is what has changed our lives, there is a piece of it that I've left out. Back when Adam
first, people what they want.
Back when Adam, he had his company, and the building he was renting for his company went up for sale. I believe this was in 2010. It's in downtown Columbus.
Okay.
It's a huge, huge warehouse. At that time, Columbus wasn't quite what it is now. So he bought that building for $500,000 is what he bought the building for. And he has owned it since.
And you still own it.
And we still own it.
Yeah, that's probably
it appraised for $2.8 million.
Do you want to be my private lender?
So we then refinanced that. Once I started to learn from you, Jesse, leveraging properties, what to do. I said to Adam, we need to leverage, you need to refinance that building.
Yeah.
And we need to be pulling the equity out of it. So he did, and we cash purchased a 6-unit apartment building.
Yes, you did.
So again, that was a lesson that you taught me, was how to leverage your properties. And so that would not have been possible without him in 2010, 13 years ago, purchasing that property. And look at what Columbus has done in the last, 13 years, what that building was worth.
For everyone watching that thinks like, oh, well, that's not fair. She started 13 years ago or started 20 years ago. You guys, if you don't start today, you'll never get to 20 years from now.
Did we remember the part where I said I'm 50?
Yeah. Right? Yeah. If you don't start today.
This is when we were in our 30s.
Yeah.
And so absolutely start today. And where will you be when you're 50? Because I'm 50 and this is where I'm at. Did I have some luck along the way? Oh my gosh, absolutely. I did, but none of that luck would have happened if I would have just sat and did nothing.
If you didn't take
Right?
action.
I do something.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right. So such a good takeaway, you know, because people think, oh, well, you know, they had millions of dollars in equity. That would never have happened if you didn't take the chance 14 years ago.
And honestly, I didn't even know he purchased the building. Like, he had a really good year. He had 2 really good years with his business.
Yeah.
And that's how he decided to spend the money. And at that time, I was so busy keeping up with 2 kids, you know, because I was the stay-at-home mom. He's the entrepreneur working his tail off till 8:00 at night.
He's the entrepreneur also.
Not at that time.
Yeah.
Not at that time. But yes, I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, he made that. And now look, I mean, again, so from that, we buy this 6-unit apartment building.
Okay.
And then we bought my West Columbus. This is in Bellefontaine.
Okay.
House, my one with the point on the roof, and it's green and it looks like a haunted house. And, we're going to work on that one. That was a project. And then we've got another single family in Bellefontaine. And then Jesse, what I will be sharing with everyone later is we are getting ready to go in contract.
Wait, did you tell me? Did you tell the group?
No, this is a duplex in Cincinnati, in downtown Cincinnati.
Okay. This is, I mean, there's stuff you have going on that I have no idea about.
That has just happened in the last days.
Multiple times a week. So that's incredible. Carrie, your transformation from the day I met you when you were scared to walk into that room to today, just out there like buying duplexes in other cities without, you know, what, like that's, it's incredible. I like get goosebumps. You've come such a long way, honestly. And
well, it's not possible without having a mentor. It's not possible without having a support group like the Rentals Made Easy support group. Those are all my friends.
Yeah.
I love our calls, but having you supporting me and mentoring me. And then where did all of it begin? It began from networking. That's how I found you. So
literally get out there today. Search today, wherever you are. If there's a networking event, just get out of your comfort zone and get out there.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes. So we're getting some really good, you know, thanks for sharing your story. Congratulations, Carrie. This has been awesome. If anyone has any questions for Carrie, we do have a few more minutes. I wanted to ask, what advice, you know, other than the networking, what advice would you give someone who's, you know, looking to, because real estate's long-term, right? I'm not teaching, I would love to, but I can't teach you to get rich in a year with long-term buy and hold real estate. So what advice would you give someone who's looking, you know, to retire kind of where you guys are as far as what to do today?
Oh gosh.
With a long-term kind of trajectory.
Have a plan, have a financial advisor. Like I hear a lot of people, Jesse, say, I want to do real estate investing because I want to quit my W-2 job. Okay. Well, you want to quit your W-2 job when?
Right.
When are you going to be able to do that? When, you know, have a plan. Don't just say I'm diving into real estate investing and because I'm going to quit my W-2, I can promise you're not going to support yourself on real estate investing for a while. Yeah, exactly. I'm lucky enough to have my husband have the W-2 where I can then do that. Without that, you know, we wouldn't be able to, it wouldn't work. So anyway, but don't just say, you know, I'm going to do this. Well, have a plan, have it planned out, know when's enough and you can use real estate investing, you know, as your income. And real estate investing alongside of a financial advisor. And this is something that has, you know, I've told you in the last week or two, this is something that has a new direction that we're taking. And it's great. It's awesome that I learned real estate investing but now I need to put the other piece in place to finish it off.
They go hand in hand. If you haven't seen the live stream where I brought on Perry Jeffries, we talk a lot about, just real estate is it's an incredibly powerful tool, but it's only one tool in your tool belt. So I love that you're, kind of expanding outside and like different ways you can really think of the long term.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Kiana's asking, what are your goals for next year?
That's funny you say that, because Adam and I had this discussion, and similar to what happened with our gym, I grew it really fast, really big, really fast, and I overwhelmed myself horribly. And I am the kind of person that I'm a perfectionist. So I will kill myself to make sure that it's perfect and it's done.
I can relate.
Right. So what Adam and I discussed is that I have to be careful that I don't grow this too big and do that to myself again.
Okay.
So what's my goals for next year? I've got one very big one, and that is to purchase a property in Florida.
Can I come, please?
Yes. And so everything I have learned, what will be almost, which will be 2 years, because that's a year. And so by the end of 2024, we would love to have bought a duplex or some type of multiple property in Florida, where I can take what I've learned here and manage my properties there, and others are renting. We have one side of it that's ours to come and go as we want to, but then we have others paying the mortgage, renting out the other parts. And so we are going to Florida in March for about 3 weeks.
Start looking. Okay.
So that's one goal. So I think, maybe 1 or 2 more properties around in the Bell Fountain or Indian Lake area, and then take on something in Florida. And then we'll have our Cincinnati, and I think my hands will be full.
Okay.
So I think from there, it's just going to be managing the properties. I mentioned to Adam, well, I could, bring in an assistant, and he didn't seem to like that idea. And
well, it depends. It's where you are in your life, right?
Yeah.
Like, I could not do what I do without Cassie, who, everyone knows is on our admin team. And I could not do my job without her. Like, just purely, she's absolutely incredible. But that's with 70 units. So you don't need that. If you have the good systems and processes, you don't really need that if you're looking towards retirement. I'm still in the growth phase. You're in the grow a tiny bit more and let it ride phase.
And that's exactly it. So I feel like Adam is right. And I have to be careful that I don't put myself in the same place I was with the gym, where I overwhelm myself. And I also do think he's right that I don't need to get so big that I need an assistant. Then I think I am too big.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It might be a little bit more of just managing what I have, maybe a few, and then just manage what I have, which the goal is to manage what we have for 5 years-ish, sell it all off.
Do whatever you want.
And off we go.
Yeah.
So.
What I love about the group and the mastermind that I've put together is I get to meet all of you where you are. If you want to grow to 100, 200 units, let's freaking do it. If you want to make a really successful side, fully passive business, let me help you do it. So that's been really enjoyable for me, that it's not just the same thing every day, that I get to hear your goals and make sure what we're recommending fits those goals. So Carrie, now that I know that you have a tendency to overdo it.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
I do.
then if I start hearing that, I am going to call you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go for it. Yes. Yeah. And I've got, I have Perry looking out for me too. Cause he's like, just don't do more than don't.
Yeah.
It's And our goal, and the other, Kiana said, what's your goal in the next year? And I've shared with you many times what my goal is for all of this. And that was for Adam to retire in 5 years. And what we've learned through using a financial advisor is that apartment that I told you we paid cash for, all the renovations are done. all the renovations, are now paid for. We paid cash for it. It's going to start cash flowing $7,000 a month.
Incredible.
Again, that came from purchasing that in 2010, purchasing that commercial building for $500,000. That now we leverage that. We've got this apartment, and now Adam's going to be able to retire sooner than we thought because we have that cash flow.
That's incredible.
So it's just incredible. How it all builds.
Y'all, this is, I know we're coming up on our time, but this is the power of real estate. And absolutely. I come on here week after week after week, and I tell you, this is a long-term strategy. You're seeing it. It's not just me. I mean, Carrie, everyone's saying, oh my gosh, $7,000 a month. Yeah, $7K a month.
We started from a $500,000. I don't know how many square feet. He knows. It's huge. It's huge. And it was falling apart. The dude's just like, you're renting it. We don't want it anymore. Sold it to him. And here we are that many years later. So hold it. Buy it, hold it.
Buy it and hold it. If you're flipping, if you see a 75K flip in front of you, sell that thing. Sell it because you're going to take that money and go buy more real estate, right? That was your exact scenario. So Carrie, this has been great. We are fully over on our time, but we do have one more question from the audience. Andrea asked, what type of issues did you encounter when you first started? And let's your single biggest issue when you first started.
When I first started, how to put the systems that I needed and putting them in place.
Okay.
Because I knew from owning a business before how very, very important having good systems are to your success. And so I knew I needed them. I had no clue what they were,
right?
Where to get them, how to put them in place.
Or even the questions to ask.
Yes. So that were the biggest issues when I first got started. So what did I do? I networked and I found somebody to help me.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time. I have one more question that I got to ask.
Okay.
We, as you guys have all seen on the group, we are enrolling right now this week through Friday for Rentals Made Easy Mastermind. Carrie is a student of ours and has been for the last year. If someone's on the fence about joining the mastermind, what advice would you say to them?
You're worth the investment. You and your family and your future are worth the investment. I know it's tough. It's tough to fork out the cost on something like this. And you think, oh gosh, what if I fork that out and then it doesn't work out and it's not what I can't make it work or, whatever it is. If you do it and you do it right and you stick with it and you're invested.
Yes.
Your investment is worth 110 times that amount of money that you're going to put into it. It really is. If you're wanting to change not only your life, but your kids' life, your family's life, you got to make that first big step.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. And I love that you said you have to be committed because you can't just come into the mastermind and think everything's going to fall into place. I mean, you got to do the work. And I say this week in and week out, you have to do the work. So I love that, that you recognize that as well. So
absolutely. Oh, shoot. And there goes my phone.
No, you're fine. You're fine. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. You're candid, tell your life story. We loved it. Honestly, loved it. So if anyone wants to connect with Carrie about anything real estate related, or you want to come hang out at her lake house, then you are welcome to reach out on Facebook. Is that the best?
Yeah, on Facebook's great. We have a coffee date the first Thursday of every month up here in Bell Fountain. So if anyone wants to join us, right now it's just myself and Jordan, but that's another, opportunity we could talk all day. I mean, I could talk all day, but Jordan and we could sit there all day and just chat away all things real estate investing.
With the help of caffeine.
Yes, exactly.
Well, why don't you post that in the comments on this? So if anyone wants to reach out, they can find you. So Absolutely. Again, thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Jesse.
Okay.